Hi, welcome back to part 4 of chapter 2. Okay, do you still remember who is the founder of economics? Adam Smith, right? Very good. So, Adam Smith believed that free trade will make everybody better off. So that is not only between individuals. He believed that if the countries all engage into free trade, all of the countries will become better off. So this section, we are going to talk about that. First of all, let's take a look at this concept. Absolute advantage. A producer or a country has absolute advantage over the other in producing a good if its productivity is higher. So, for example, if you can make 100 sandwiches while I can make 50 sandwiches, then your productivity is higher, you have absolute advantage. Okay? Second concept, comparative advantage. A producer or a country has comparative advantage over the other in producing a good if its opportunity cost is lower. Remember, what is opportunity cost? It is what we give up in order to gain something, right? So in the first example, in order to make 100 sandwiches, you have to give up 50 dumplings. So 50 dumplings is the opportunity cost. And we are going to take a look at this comparative advantage in the coming slides. Okay, let's take a look at this example. PPF for USA, PPF for India. We want to find out, should USA trade with India? Okay, all right. First question, what is the maximum amount of peach USA can grow per year? Can you answer that question? It is 100, isn't it? Quantity of peaches here, so 100 is the answer. Very good. What is the maximum amount of peach India can grow per year? It is 40 here, isn't it? Because this is the India's PPF. And then, what is the maximum amount of fish USA can catch per year? What do you think? 40, right? Good. And then next question, what is the maximum amount of fish India can catch per year? 30, isn't it? Good. Okay. Who has absolute advantage in growing peach? What do you think? USA, isn't it? We produce 100, India produce 40, so we have a higher productivity and we have absolute advantage. Okay. Who has absolute advantage in catching fish? What do you think? We catch 40, India catch 30, therefore USA again has absolute advantage in catching fish. So since USA has absolute advantage in producing both peach and fish, if USA and India trade, would it hurt USA and benefit India? What do you think? Okay. In the classroom, majority of the students say we shouldn't trade because we are doing better in both. Okay, so let's do some analysis. So if USA and India do not trade, how many units of peach and fish can India consume if they grow 27 units of peach and catch 10 units of fish? What do you think? India can consume exactly the same, 27 units of peach and 10 units of fish. This means that when a country do not trade with any other nation, how much they produce is how much they can consume. They cannot consume any more than that. Okay? Now let's figure out which country has comparative advantage. The country that has lower opportunity cost has comparative advantage. So how do I figure out 0.4 here in the table? Opportunity cost per unit of peach in the formula is number of goods given up divided by the number of goods gained. So opportunity cost per unit of peach means that we want to produce peach. So the number gained should be 100 from the PPF. You can find it down here, right? In order to make 100 peach, we have to give up 40 fish. So that is why we give up 40 fish in order to make 100 peach. So 40 divided by 100 gives us 0.4 unit of a fish given up for 1 peach. I know that you're very smart. You should be able to figure out the rest of the opportunity cost in the table. Okay, now let's take a look at this question. Who has comparative advantage in catching fish? So catching fish is here, opportunity cost per unit of fish. Fish is what we want to know. Okay, so you compare 2.5 and 1.33. India give up 1.33 units of peach to get 1 fish, and USA have to give up more. So because of that, India is the one who has comparative advantage in catching fish. Who has comparative advantage in growing peach? You can compare over here, 0.4 and 0.75. So US give up less unit of fish in order to get peach. So that is why the United States has comparative advantage in growing peach. So now you know when it goes to comparative advantage, it has to be only one country that has the comparative advantage. For example, once you know that India is the one that has comparative advantage in catching fish, you don't have to see the other one. Whoever grow peach, it has to be the other country, which is USA. Okay, so David Ricardo is a student of Adam Smith. He was the one who finds out the comparative advantage theory. He said that the country has comparative advantage should specialize to make more of the good and export it to the other countries. So each country has comparative advantage and also comparative disadvantage. So you just trade with the other country. Okay. Now, who should specialize to grow peach and why? USA, right? Because we have a comparative advantage. That is, we give up less fish than India. So that is why. Who should specialize to catch fish? Why? It should be India, right? Because they has comparative advantage and they give up less peach to catch fish. So they should do that. Now, next, let's see how to trade. Let's take a look at this example. There are two countries here. One is USA, the other is India. Both countries can produce peach and fish. So, if the US allocate half of the resources to produce peach, we can produce 50, and the rest half produce fish, then we can produce 20. For India, if they allocate one third of the resources to produce fish, they can produce 10. The rest of the 2/3 on producing peach, they can produce 27. So the question is, if USA and India do not trade, how many units of peach and fish can USA consume? What do you think? If we don't trade with anybody else, how much we produce is how much we can consume. So we can consume 50 peach, right? How about fish? We can consume 20 fish, isn't it? Very good. How about India? The two countries do not trade. If India produce 27 peach, how many can they consume? 27, right? How about fish? 10, isn't it? Very good. We can find out that the production 50 peach and 20 fish in fact is over here at point A O. So that is what we can consume. All right, as for India, they can produce at this point over here. So 2/3 of the resources makes peach and 1/3 of the resources makes fish. That's why they can consume at IO over here on the PPF. Okay. Now let's assume that the two countries get together and agree to specialize to do what they are good at. So in that case, since USA has comparative advantage in peach, so USA is going to allocate all of the resources to make peach only. So the production point is here, no fish. While India has comparative advantage to catch fish, so we let India to specialize to catch fish only, and they don't grow peach anymore. So this is production. After that, India and USA trade. So USA produce more peach than needed, so they will export 40 to India. So our export to India is Indians' import. So we send 40 peach to India. On the other hand, India export 20 fish to the United States. So we import 20 fish. And that is how we trade. Now let's see how much we can consume after the trade over here. We produce 100 peach. We sell or export 40 to India. How many peach left out? 60, isn't it? We have 60 to consume. How about import fish? We don't catch any fish. We import 20 from India. How many do we have for consumption? We consume 20, isn't it? Good. And then Indians do not produce any peach, but they buy 40 from the United States. So now, how many do they have? They have 40 for consumption, right? How about fish? What do you think? They have 30, they produce 30, but they sell 20 to the United States, which is their export, so they have 10 left for the local consumption. Now that we trade with India, do we gain from trade? Let's take a look. So when we see the gains from trade, we compare consumption to consumption. If we don't trade with them, we consume 50 peach. If we trade with them, we now consume 60. Do we gain anything from trade? We gain 10 peach, right? How about fish? Do we gain any fish? We consume 20. After trade, we consume the same. So we gain 0 in terms of fish. Now, as for India, they consume 27 peach. without trade, they consume 40 after trade. How much peach do they gain? 13, isn't it? 40 minus 27. How about fish? Fish, they gain 0, right? Because before is 10, after is also 10. Very good. There is something interesting over here. Do you realize that we consume outside PPF after we trade? See, before trade, we consume at here, AO. After trade, we consume 60 peach and 20 fish. That is where AC is. So this blue dot, that is outside PPF. So we consume outside PPF. As for India, they also consume outside PPF. So this is the gains from trade. In his book Principles of Political Economy and Taxation, David Ricardo explained how the pattern of trade means import or export, was determined by comparative advantage. This is a very significant discovery. We are now consume way outside PPF. Why? Because we trade with other country. And how about absolute advantage? Absolute advantage may not be able to tell which goods should be import, which goods should be export. Like in this example, USA is both, has higher productivity in both goods, but we don't know which one to import, which one to export. Only when we compare the opportunity cost, find out the comparative advantage, we can do that. Now, after we study the comparative advantage theory, let's see if you can answer these questions. Should the United States trade with any other nation? Why? What do you think? Yes, because the country who trade with the other country can always gain. They gain from trade. How about some of the nations that we don't want to trade with them? Well, that is for political reason, not for economic reasons. Is there a group of people who become worse off due to international trade? What do you think? Yes, workers in the importing sector could lose their jobs because, in our example, because we import fish from India, fishermen lost their job. However, since we export peach, so we need more peach growers. So we have a new job in the exporting sector. We lost job in the importing sector. True or false? A country is better off due to international trade. It is true because we gain from trade, we can consume outside PPF. True or false? Everyone is better off due to international trade. This is false, right? Why? Because some workers who lose their jobs, they are worse off. So not everyone can be better off, but the country as a whole is better off. Should the government ban imports because it causes job loss? What do you think? Well, my personal opinion is that the government should help to relocate the workers who lost their job to the exporting sectors because the exporting sectors needs more people to work, have new jobs openings. Okay, we have a few final words here. This chapter is about how to allocate the scarce resources to make goods and services to satisfy people's wants and needs. And we have two theories here. One is if we sacrifice present consumption, we consume less, so that we can have resources to produce capital goods, then we will have economic growth in the future. We can consume more in the future, so we can satisfy people's wants and needs more in the future. That is the first part. And the second part is if we trade with other nations, we can consume outside PPF and we will have higher living standard because of that. This is an exercise to test your understanding about international trade. So complete this assignment, and then you can take the quiz named Bonus Chapter 2, US-Japan Trade. This problem is also in the lecture notes. Okay, that's it for Chapter 2. Bye.